his white ass gonna be sitting right there watching a strange room. He gonna have a whole lot of niggas.
Let me actually create a few notes for myself. I want to have weird lighting, so this is somewhat intentional, but I can't tell how crazy it's looking to y'all. So bear with me, because this is also the only place. That's a little bit better. But welcome back to Down to Mars, or I should say welcome to Down to Mars, because this is like my first installment ever of a little series I'd like to call Wind Down on Mars. Let me try this again. Let me like back this up and try. Okay, so my brain was pacing all over the place. What I was trying to say before this next clip, because I lost the footage, was that I want to create this talk show space, podcast, whatever the hell you want to call it, essentially as a means to create a safe space for Black women and BIPOC, just people of color, and kind of creating a space where there's going to be a streamline of positivity. Like, not that I may not talk about things that are negative, but for the most part, just a place where you can come to wind down, kind of like relaxing, just talkative girlfriend conversation. And you're gonna hear me talk about that more in this next clip, but it's kind of abrupt, so just a disclaimer. And know that they're going to receive news and information and conversation that was made with them in mind. So I ask that you pull up a seat, pull out a glass, pour yourself a glass of wine, and let's just kind of chit chat a little bit and unwind. So generally speaking, the things that I like to talk about really just depend on what topic I'm feeling for that day. I may want to go deep, may want it to be a little bit more surface, but essentially we just talk about whatever's on my mind. And this series, like the idea for like sort of like a talk show, so to speak, and sort of like a space where, my glasses, a space where, I think I like it without the glasses more, a space where women of color can kind of just come and get some conversation. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that kind of pure nature of like content creation. Set this down. I feel like that kind of pure aspect of content creation that was heavily made with women and women of color in mind, it's very limited, it's very few and far between. And one of my dreams has always been to host my own talk show, or just have a talking space where I have viewers come in who are interested in my opinion or my 2 cents on things, because as a person with Gemini placements in almost every aspect of my astrological placements, from like my Mars, my Mercury, my rising, I'm like completely ruled by Gemini. So as you can imagine, I'm a freaking nutcase. And I say that all to say, what did I say that for? I don't know what my point is. No, I remember what my point was. I feel like nowadays, so many of us are so stressed out and under so much pressure as early 20-somethings, trying to navigate, you know, our career spaces, or trying to navigate our jobs or relationships, unpacking trauma from your childhood, trying to figure out what you want to devote the next 20-something years of your life to for a career, trying to figure out just your identity. Like, there's so many different aspects to it all that can get so overwhelming and scary. I kind of want to be someone or something that can represent the antithesis of that, something that is literally contrarian to that. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I sound crazy, but just like, I guess I have this desire to represent something for the Black community in a way that we just don't see as much anymore. But that kind of got me thinking about something really, really random. Oprah. I want to be the next Oprah. Like, I know that sounds so ridiculous, and I feel like that's quite the statement to make because she had such work ethic, but what is our generation's Oprah? Like, somebody that is so significant within the realm of media that they make a lasting impact the way that she did, and with the subscription of media that she had created and elevated. I don't know, I just feel like Oprah is such a freaking force. Like, people love Oprah, and her love, like, especially I think now because of certain things that she's had going on, you know what I mean? I feel like now there's more kind of like controversy surrounding her, but at the time that I was coming up, people would go crazy for Oprah in a way and on a level of sensation that you don't really see outside of like rappers or like a certain type of celebrity today. I don't know, I just wonder, would there be somebody who would be able to be so successful in our generation that could be something akin to an Oprah? If so, I would love to do that. Like, I wish that there was a way that we could create conversation from this newer generation and strike up conversation in a way that was so intense enough to strike a chord with people in the way that she did. That episode where she had members of Ku Klux Klan members, like, this is getting kind of dark, but she had them on her show, and it was such a pivotal moment for daytime television in the American diaspora that I remember that being such a fucking topic. Like, and nobody had seen it before. Nobody had seen this kind of alternative area of culture, and I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. I would like for my news to be mostly positive, and mostly artistic driven and motivated, but it's still so interesting to think that somebody in that industry, in that field, could be so successful. Like, I want to be, like, if I had to say an influencer for me that I would look to, is like Oprah, because she's so cool. But yeah, back on, I'm gonna have to try to like organize this video, but back on just like, I feel like the pressure that there is for women across the board to have their shit figured out, especially if you're coming from a family like I am, where I'm a first generation college graduate, and I feel like I feel such a sense of, maybe now I feel more imposter syndrome. A lot of people would ask me like, yo, do you struggle with imposter syndrome? And I always feel like, no, I don't struggle with imposter syndrome. I feel fairly confident about the woman I am. Now as a 24-year-old woman, I think I am sensing the imposter syndrome, because I'm like, okay, should I be more accomplished? Should I be more in my field? And do y'all feel me with that? Like, sisters, brothers, if you're listening, do you feel this immense pressure to just be so fucking successful, to be so crazy, you know, successful, and to have been the one in the family that just really took it to the stars? I don't know. But I do definitely feel that to some extent the reason the concept of Wind Down on Mars, and I'm jumping all over, is so appealing to me is because my vision for this like series or this project would be like, I would be able to have these beautiful, amazing conversations, but the backdrop of these conversations would just be these amazing settings. Like, I literally want to interview people on Mars. Like, in my perfect fantasy, I can get Oprah, I can get Elon Musk, and Elon Musk will give me a ride to pick up Oprah so that we can get in my spaceship and go to Mars. This sounds crazy. Oh my gosh, that sounds crazy, but like, that is my dream job. That is my dream job. And then for me to document having a conversation with Oprah on Marz. I'm taking this to new heights. Like, that is what I want. And I mean, not literally. Of course there's like things that you can do for this, but like, I love the idea of just having a conversation with a person just like in a crazy setting. Like, that would be my dream job. I love interviews. I love media. I love just the culture of American media. And I think that's why Oprah is such a symbol to me. But, you know, I also love her story of her career trajectory, because I think she got serious. She's a journalist and I went to school for journalism. But I think she got her start in her career in her 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong about that. I'm not gonna bother to do the research right now just because for the sake of me making this point. But she got into her career a little later. It wasn't even a little later, but I love her trajectory of just her upward mobility kind of narrative within the corporate space. Like, I love that literature of like, oh, she was just like, you know, a young journalist, black woman who wanted to make it, and she got the luck of a lifetime and ended up being able to eventually create her entire own network. And I remember talking to my mom, asking my mom, why is Oprah so fucking famous, bro? It did not, even till this day, think about how famous Oprah is for what she does. Oprah is mad famous. Oprah is like OD famous. And it's like, I don't want to be as famous as Oprah. I'm just in awe that somebody can get so famous from doing what Oprah did because she was so good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a mastery, like a master in your field. Like, that's what it is. She's so good at conducting interviews and her realm of journalism and really giving a story that she was able to be so impactful within the media space. Anyways, her trajectory just interests me because I feel like she's somebody who got her kind of upward mobility a little bit later. I'm 24, so I think about this all the time. But if I devote like the next 5 years into my craft, hustling, giving it my all, like putting in the hours, if I do that for the next 5 years, by the time I'm 29, I can like maybe be where I want to be. And I hate that I think that way. Like, I hate that, and it's so in my mind. But I look at people like Oprah and I'm like, okay, if she could get so successful in her time frame, I can do it. But I hate that I even think that way. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that I even think about, oh, if I do this for X amount of years, because I should just enjoy the freaking ride. I should just make content because I love it and find a way to fall in love with it. And I feel like I'm almost at that place now where it's like my desire for making content is shifting from kind of this aspect of, let me take a sip of wine. Take a sip with me, y'all. My desire of making content is almost shifting from this desire to acquire the numbers and acquire the status and acquire the validation of like, oh, I got all these subscribers so I can say that I'm a YouTuber, even though that's still a big motivating force. Like, my ego still wants that. My desire is shifting more so from that to, I just almost just want to make content because now I feel like I have something to say. I feel like before I wanted to make content for the sake of making content, and I did desire to be creative, but I don't think I clearly had a tone of voice and a tone of style. Even though right now, I could say collectively with my YouTube, I have 2 channels. Collectively, I have maybe 800 subscribers. So that is micro in the sphere of influencers. But I still have such a desire to say something now, and I have such a clear voice about what I want to say in the message I want to get across, that I feel so much more confident about turning on a camera, sitting down, grabbing my mic, turning everything on and setting everything up and talking, you know? And I think that is the beauty that comes with aging, and is why I'm starting to try to reteach myself about how, is somebody here? I am trying to reteach myself about how to embrace aging and embrace getting older. Like, I'm 24 and that freaks me out because I feel like in my mind my flesh wants to be like, oh shit, you're running out of time, hurry up, get your shit together. But also I'm like, I'm 24, I'm wiser than I've ever been, I feel hotter than I ever been, I feel like I like this version of myself so much more than so many other versions of myself now more than ever. Like, I love who I am. I'm loving the woman that I am. Like, me at 19, I was not as sure of myself. Me at 20, I was not as sure as myself. Me at 21, 22, I was wasting so much time in an unhealthy, toxic relationship that it damaged me so badly. But now that I'm like 24, I'm a badass woman. I'm not as afraid as I felt before to take a risk and to put myself out there. And that's what comes with aging. That's the beauty that comes with it. And that's why it's like our culture has to embrace it. Madonna, I saw an interview of her and the caption said something like Madonna at 34 defending her future self when she's 53. And she was talking about ageism. And lately I've resonated with it so much because you don't even understand when you're having those thoughts of fear of like running out of time and that stems from what you think people who are older are able to achieve and what you think of their quality of life. The reality of the situation is I'm 24, about to turn 25. After 25, people expect for you to have your shit together. I know my shit will not be together. So does that mean that like, okay, shit, after 25 I'm done? Like, after 25 is ice for me? No, I still have so much left to prove and so much left to say and so much life to live. And I think that's why, I don't know how to word this without it sounding too OD, but I feel like when people are really young and they can't foresee themselves properly aging, that can definitely contribute to a realm of depression and anxiety that could drive you to the point of something very dark. And the reason I say that is because when you don't foresee your future, like, and this is literally the darkness in ageism, and you can't foresee yourself being happy in these 50+ years, you're looking at your 20s and you're approaching and you're feeling like, yo, my life is freaking over. Like, my life is over. I can't foresee. And even now, I'll be real with you, I can't, like, my 24-year-old brain, I cannot picture even remotely being 40. I can't picture that right now. But I'm looking at where I'm at now, and I'm looking at the decisions I'm making now, and I see how far I am from the woman that I want to be even now, and the work that I would have to do to get to where I would even remotely want to be at 40. Oh yeah, there's definitely a sense of like fear and a sense of like, oh, like it's a quickening, because you're like, I have so much work to do, but also on the flip end of it, it's exciting because I'm young and there's still so much for me to get to that woman that I'm gonna be, and that woman is gonna be fucking dope. And I'm saying that right now to any one of you women that are out there my age, older, whatever the case is. We as women have to stop letting society tell us like when our value is expired, or as women to women. Because this is something that I was also saying. I was talking and I was like, you know, the way the older demographic of women and the younger demographic of women, especially within the Black community, we don't have that sense of sisterhood the way that we should, because there's so much that both of us can learn from each other. We can learn something as somebody who, yes, I'm getting older, but I'm still on the younger side of things. There's so much that I can learn from women who look like me, who have lived this life and are older. There's so much game and wisdom to get. We as young girls don't need to be shutting that out and hating on that and feeling like, oh, okay, well, why do I need to listen to you? Da-da-da-da-da. You're old, you're bitter, or just some of the rhetoric that I hear some of my younger sisters saying to our older sisters, and it's like, I don't like it. And it goes vice versa. Older people opening up the way and really setting us on the proper trajectory as younger people to kind of like meet in the middle and hold our hands instead of there being this sort of contention. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way, but it just seems like there's just this strife within our community with one another. But like, if we just came together, if we just, I'm sorry if I'm congested, but yeah, it's like, if we just came together and if we just squashed all the bull, we can really have something amazing. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of all over, but I feel like the main points that I was trying to make have kind of been met or made. It's just, you know, I don't want people to keep putting an expiration on themselves. I don't want people to keep limiting who they are creatively. I don't want people to be afraid and put themselves in a box. I want to inspire people in new ways. I want to create a safe space for Black women. I want this thing to be something that is out of this world and something that has never been done before. And I realized that I'm not going to be able to wake up and produce that exactly, but it's something that will happen over time. And if you guys are interested in following along in that journey with me, that would mean everything to me, sister. It really, really would. I hope this video wasn't too rambly and too all over the place. I definitely really enjoyed making it. If you guys have any thoughts on what I said, please feel free to sound off down below. I would love to hear more from you. And yeah, make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See you somewhere in the cosmos. Bye.